Hey everyone, so welcome back to another oral lesson. Now this one is a re-recording of the lesson that we had last night because unfortunately I forgot to share my screen. So there we go. This lesson is going to be on sexting. So kind of once someone joins your account, obviously subscribes to your girl, what next? What's the best script to use in order to extract as much money as is physically possible from a new subscriber? Okay. Obviously, it also works with subscribers they may already have in terms of outreach. So yeah, we'll just jump straight into it. Let me get my screen shared and remember to do that this time. Lovely stuff. So. Now, sexting is by far the best method of making a lot of money from OnlyFans. In terms of the DM side of things, the exact script that you need to use in order to maximise your revenue, we've put together here. So not only is this handy for you in terms of actually having to kind of reply to the messages, but it's actually going to be super, super crucial for when you take on an employee as you begin to outsource and as you begin to scale. This is why we put this together for you. Obviously, you guys can download this Google document and kind of from there, obviously, have a really, really good idea of what you need to tell your new employee in terms of answering messages. All right, so to kick things off, you want to essentially have an automated welcome message that starts by saying something like, "Hey baby, what's your name?" or "What would you like me to call you?" Well, right now, obviously, by asking two questions, you're really upping the engagement levels. What's your name? Nice and friendly, ease into the conversation. You're very much likely going to get a reply. What you need to consider at this point is that most likely a guy subscribes to this account thinking, "Oh, I'll just have a quick look for $6, then I'm done." They're not expecting to be stuck with this script and obviously stuck with the amount of money we're going to try and get out of them. So that's something that you guys really need to bear in mind with this. Straight away into a conversation. All right. It's also really, really important in terms of setting the power balance from the start, okay? Now, some guys might say daddy. Now, that's obviously going to kind of make you think, I'm going to need to be really dominant within this script. Some might just say their name. Maybe they're a little bit unsure. Maybe someone might say little bitch if they're into something like that. So, in terms of the power balance, this is something you need to keep up throughout the script. You need to really understand essentially kind of what does the guy want out of this conversation. What is he trying to gain? What element, maybe his normal life is he not having that he's come to this OnlyFans and he's trying to gain this, all right? So that's something you really, really need to consider. Now, the next step is to, kind of ask what he's into. Maybe he's a fetish, maybe something a little bit more normal, like, are you a boobs guy, arse guy, something like that. So obviously you can know within the script what you're going to push more of in terms of the videos, all right? So as it says there, the script is going to essentially change depending on what he's into, what he does, all that kind of thing. So a really, really great question that it's essential to kick off with is what are you doing right now, okay? If he's available, then jump straight into the script. If he is available to masturbate at that point, jump into the script. If not, don't bother because it's a waste of time. There's no way that you're going to make a sale or anything like that. So what you essentially need to do is actually just work out whether is he in a position where he's going to buy these messages. If not, no worries. Make an excuse, message him later on. "Oh, I've got a hair appointment now, I'll come back to you." Or, "Oh, I'm just nipping out, message me later." Or, message me when you're free later on, buy you back from work, whatever. Because there's no point in trying to initiate a conversation and waste time if the guy is, say, in work or, let's say, out and about. Okay? You want, within the answer, what you're doing right now, if they're lying on the sofa, in bed, whatever, perfect time. All right? So, if the guy is available, send a completely free pic. I think they're actually talking to this girl throughout the script in real time, and she's taken as she kind of getting a bit of enjoyment from this as well. So send a picture, fully clothed, maybe like a little selfie, something like that. The idea is you have a little bit of small talk kind of before launching into this. So what's a really great thing to do is mention as well, in order to kind of build the intimacy a little bit. Mention that potentially the girl is a bit shy. "Oh, I've not been doing this for very long," or I'm not sure what you're going to think if I show you something. That kind of thing. Now that level of intimacy kind of just gets them really, really bought into the script, and obviously bought into the whole interaction. All right. So here is a little top tip at this point in order just to make everything seem so much more natural and make everything flow so much better. At this point, put something that kind of makes the conversation go into real time, all right? So maybe something like, "Let me go shut my blinds so the neighbours won't see us," or "I need to shut my door so my parents won't hear us." Obviously, not true at all, but by adding that element in, it's going to further create the illusion that this is a real-time interaction. The girl is doing this with the guy, and this is something that's happening right now, not something that's happening kind of in a pre-recorded manner. All right. So first video you're going to want to send, okay? Now, first video is going to be kind of $8 to $10, and that'll just be like a video of the girl, say, taking her top off, all right? So make sure you're doing this in real time as well. That's a huge, huge point with this across all these videos, right? If you're sending a video which is 2 minutes long, please, please, please make sure that the video that you're recording, in terms of kind of, obviously, you're going to have your videos ready to go, saved in the clipboard, as we mentioned a few lessons ago. Now, you are going to want to essentially have that, but make sure that you take the same amount of time in the video than you do to reply, okay? Because, you know, if they're thinking of having this interaction in real time and you send them a video that clearly they've taken, you know, maybe you've taken 5 seconds to send it, it's not going to look real, all right? So if the video's a minute long, take a minute to send the video. Now, at this point, you sent the first paid message. You're going to kind of wheedle out a lot of the time wasters here, all right? So in terms of the common objections, right? At this point, you're going to probably get your first, you know, potential rejection. You know, hopefully, if it's just $8 to $10, they should purchase it. You know, if not, it's going to be a case of, you know, or maybe I don't have the money, or why can't we do this for free, or something like that, all right? So first step you want to take with the objection is you're going to want to try and persuade them in a nice way. All right, take it easy, you know, kind of, oh, you know, come on, baby, treat yourself. You know, you've been working so hard, you deserve this, or I want to do this with you, whatever. If that doesn't work, and the nicey approach has failed, move to a harder approach. You know, do you not think I'm worth it? You know, am I not worth that to you? Okay, if that doesn't work, final resort. Okay, oh, if you don't think I'm worth it, you know, I'll go and have fun with someone else. I'll take a much harder approach, and I'll just leave it. All right. Now at that point, fear of missing out is going to kick in, bit of FOMO. You know, they're likely going to buy it. They've almost been shamed into it a little bit, which is no bad thing. Now, if that hasn't worked there, don't stress it. They were never going to buy anything anyway. They're clearly just time wasters, all right? Maybe they're broke, something like that, all right? So go through those lists. Go through that list there if you ever get any rejections with regards to the first video, okay? Because it's so cheap that if someone is rejecting you, it's not really a great sign moving forward, all right? Now, in terms of kind of the next video, you're going to want to go with a video of the girl, say, now playing with the boob. So maybe $10 to $15. Obviously, you guys can switch these scripts out. You can have a couple of different options in terms of if the guy says he's a boob man, arse man, whatever. All right, so that you're going to have to be about kind of 30 seconds to a minute long. Okay? And that one there, once again, if you get any of the objections, kind of revert back to what you were saying before. You know, by this point, if they bought both those videos, they're clearly quite brought into this whole process. Now, once again, in terms of adding some, you know, legitimacy at this point, you know, the guy, you're going to want to make the guy feel that, you know, the girl is getting an equal amount of pleasure out of this as well, all right? So potentially ask to see the guy's dick, all right? Some of them will, some of them won't. If they don't want to, it's fine. You know, keep up the flirty chat. Some of them just, you know, maybe just they don't feel comfortable sending pictures, whatever. But if they do send it, you know, it helps to add a little element of, you know, the girl taking pleasure from this. No longer is it a transactional relationship. It's actually a relationship where, you know, realistically, you know, they believe that they're actually just kind of more of a mutual thing, even though they are paying, of course. So if they send a picture, what you want to do is obviously make sure that your girl has a few pre-recorded voice notes with like a dick rating, like, oh, it's so big, or it's dirty talk, or I'd love to have that right now, whatever. Have a couple of voice recordings set up that you can obviously send in real time and make them think that, you know, the girl is also taking a lot of pleasure from this, right? Now, obviously, we're going to step up a little notch kind of in terms of the videos next. So you're going to send a video of the girl fingering herself, so that's going to be around $60 and around 1 to 2 minutes long, okay? Keep up the dirty talk with this when you're capturing the message. You know, so, well, look how wet you're making me, whatever. But that's going to be around 1 to 2 minutes long, $60. So what you guys need to realise is by this point, if they've bought all of these videos, so they spent $8 to $10, they spent another $10 to $15. Okay. Now they're bought in by this point. Okay, let's say they spent $25, $30 already. That extra $60 isn't going to seem like a huge amount because they've already invested into this process. You know, we all know what they're going to be doing right now. So you really want to make sure that, you know, you've got the investment throughout the way through. If they put this $60 in, it's a really, really, really great buying signal in terms of getting the full way through the script. Because this is the kind of the first amount of money, which is, you know, a bit larger than, you know, 8 to 10 or 10 to 15. All right. So in terms of, by this point, if they're buying that, you know, brilliant. So far, you have, you know, nearly made $100 just off of a short interaction. You know, it's scripts like this that can make or break an account. You know, if you're running these scripts, you know, kind of 12 hours a day, you're going to make a huge, huge, huge amount of money. So, you know, next video, kind of $60. Hopefully they'll buy that as well. They've bought the other two, they're investing in the process. Now at this point, it's really quite advisable. Kind of this is more of the case kind of throughout. Throw in a few deliberate spelling mistakes. Right? I know that sounds quite strange, but once again, just linking back to the element that we said about in terms of, I need to shut my blinds, my neighbours might see, or I need to shut my door, whatever. It just really does add to the whole kind of real life, real time elements of this. All right. So a few deliberate spelling mistakes, like I don't know, let's say I need to shut my door. Maybe you miss off the R, and then you put little asterisks like door. Oops, my bad. It just adds to that kind of relationship building. This is a proper conversation. The girls clearly put a lot of time and effort into this conversation. So couple of deliberate spelling mistakes make it seem a little bit more real, because this is the illusion that you're creating throughout this whole script, right? It also helps to kind of get them to believe essentially that the girls really putting quite a lot of interest into you. Maybe they're really enjoying speaking to the customer. So in terms of next, you're going to want to send the final video of the script. So that is going to be a video of the girl finishing. Dirty talking. Maybe a really really long video, that one as well. So 2 to 3 minutes. Obviously, once again, make sure you take 2 to 3 minutes in between messages. Now with this one, you're going to want to price that at about $100. Okay. Now, obviously, that sounds like a lot of money. You guys probably think, oh, no one's going to pay for that. I can assure you, they will, and they have many, over the past few years, more times than I could possibly even count. So, what you've essentially done here is taken this from a $6 subscription interaction into a $200 interaction. Suddenly, before they know it, they spent $200, and boom, they don't even know what's happened. They've just got caught up in the moment, and that is what you want. Okay. So, this final video, $100, really long, finishes off the script, whatever. Now, hopefully they'll buy that. They've invested $90 up to this point. $100 isn't a huge a huge extra jump. If they spent $90, they may as well spend the extra 100 and kind of complete the whole cycle. All right. Now, that's perfect. That script there. Okay, boom. You've made $200 out of a new subscriber. Excellent. What you want to do is kind of get this to a point where it's almost a recurring revenue element. Maybe the same guy will come back and do this 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, so it's really, really key. You don't just end the script there. The transaction in their eyes, it's not just finished. That's not just it. You paid for these videos, you both finished, whatever, done. That's not the case. At the end, you're going to want to have a small follow-up in terms of, maybe a selfie of the girl smiling, saying, oh, look how happy you made me, or whatever. And, that is going to really, really help to build up a relationship. And, it's going to essentially lead up to a point where, every single time that the guy, comes to masturbate, he's going to kind of want to have an interaction of that nature with the girl. If you are successful with this, it will literally lead to a situation where a guy or multiple guys are spending thousands with you every month. Okay? They're going to start to believe that they really do have something serious with this model. This is really something that she's taking great pleasure off. Maybe that they're going to end up meeting each other, whatever. Obviously, it's not the case whatsoever. But if you can build up that illusion to them, that's what they're that's what they're getting out of this. So by having a script of that nature instead of just sending out the odd group message, that's where you kind of that's where you start hitting your really big money. If you are kind of working like this. Having properly detailed scripts that obviously you can edit yourself, have multiple different variations, and obviously maximising the amount of money that you're going to get from a subscriber. Okay, so you will get to a point where guys are obsessed. That's exactly what you want to build. You want to build it to a point where they've got like an online girlfriend, right? Okay, so. In terms of how to find these sexes, obviously all you guys are thinking now, I don't really want to be doing this every night. Obviously not. No one does. It goes without saying. I would probably recommend you spend a couple of days doing it yourself on messages, purely just to get in the vibe of things. Make sure that you have everything there needed to complete the script, and obviously just for you guys to test your own script success rates, and obviously become a little bit more familiar with the platform, which is going to help when you come to potentially train upwards as well. But in terms of actually kind of the next step of this, you're going to really want to find a sexter or find something to outsource this to. So look locally, people you can find. By far the best method is to offer a commission. So let's say 10% or 20%, and that's going to really, really motivate the sexter to work hard and push sales. Potentially it could be someone that that wants some extra money, or, potentially another really great option is to outsource it to a poorer country where work's hard to come by. So in that case, it may be cheaper to pay them a salary, so maybe $500 to $600, something like that. But in terms of this, you are going to want to essentially find someone who, is looking for some extra work, is available between, kind of late hours, early morning hours, that can obviously print a load of money off for you just by running through these scripts, all right? Gay guys work really, really well. Kind of, obvious reasons they play into that kind of, knowing what a guy wants really quite well. And obviously, for them, it's a slightly easier interaction than this. Say it's you've got a girl doing it or a straight guy doing it, whatever. In terms of languages, so good English is essential. Most of your subscribers will speak English, but obviously it goes without saying. If you've got a girl, you guys are signing girls from kind of all across Europe, all across the globe, even. If they are Spanish and they have lots of Spanish subscribers, make sure that the sexter can speak Spanish. It's common sense, but it's important to include because that's not something you can ignore. You want to be communicating with your clientele on a basis where it's their first language, because it's just going to make everything a lot easier to understand. All right. Now, obviously, once you've hired someone, to begin with, log into the OnlyFans very regularly. Check what they're doing, check if they're encountering any issues. Potentially check if they're actually messaging everyone, doing it correctly. Kind of after a while, I'd say you probably only need to log in once a week. We log into our accounts now even less than that. Kind of once every couple of weeks, we have everything outsourced. But with you guys, once a week, once they've settled in, and at this point, you're beginning to scale and outsource and kind of almost turn your agency into a slightly kind of passive income source, which is obviously the freedom that we all discussed in some of the initial calls together. Okay, so that is kind of the process to run through in terms of setting up a really solid sexting script. Obviously, you guys are going to have this Google document. You can use this and adapt it in your own way if you want to add stuff to it, or maybe definitely a great idea to create 3 or 4 of the same versions. If they're having the same script every time, it's not going to lead to repeat purchase, because they're going to realise at some point. In terms of the action points for this lesson, obviously usually we do a little Q&A at the end, but considering that I forgot to turn my screen record on, it's just me. In terms of the action points, what I would say is run through a script with a fan on your girl's account straight away. What you can do with this initial message up here, obviously it says, message a new subscriber this, what you doing right now, or hey, what's your name, what would you like to call you? Maybe send out a message in the evening to all your girl subscribers saying, what are you doing right now, what would you like me to call you this evening? Something like that, and that's going to initiate loads of conversations and loads of opportunities to run through this script, okay? So run through this script with a fan on one of your girl's accounts, make three to four different variations of this script, use this as a guideline, potentially different videos, different pictures, whatever you guys want to do. And thirdly, ensure that you have the content ready to go. So, different variations of the girl, that audio recording of the dick rating that we discussed a short while ago. Make sure you have all the content ready to go for this script so you can use it yourself for a little while and then obviously get it outsourced as soon as possible. Okay? Good stuff. So yeah, that kind of covers everything with regards to the sexting script. This is the sexting script that we use. This is what we give to our employees. This is what we've used for a very long time. Obviously, we have got probably 30 odd different variations of this now. But this is such a great basis in terms of beginning to bring that element of your account kind of on board. So yeah, obviously, if anyone has any questions, as always, we're available in the Discord 24/7. Drop me a message, and it has been an absolute pleasure. Not speaking to you guys, maybe speaking to you guys wherever you guys are right now. All right, good stuff.